even though I absolutely love it, you can actually see a bump where it just hasn't been smoothed out properly on the neck. How nuts is that? For an expensive guitar like this, you can actually see it in the light reflection a little bit. Yeah, look. There we go.
This is epic. Martin, limited edition. How many made?
91.
91
in the
made.
world.
This is the one. Okay, Stephen Still's signature Martin guitar. And that's all you're going to see. It arrived from the factory. It's singing to me. Can you hear that? Mm-hmm. It arrived from the factory, unfortunately, broken. And it's for a completely different video, talking about hard cases and how actually hard cases aren't necessarily the best thing for a guitar. In this case, we've got a separation between the ribs and the back. And we're gonna have to go in there and reapply some glue and try and fix this. It's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Sophia, you are our acoustic specialist and a luthier extraordinary.
You're too kind. Yeah, it's just where the purfling and the rib have come apart slightly.
Which is sad.
Which is sad, but the good news is it's doable. Not from the inside though, because there's kerf lining probably about 6 millimeters down, so we'll have to do it from the outside going in.
I assumed that we were going in from inside, and you know, I don't have the stature required to work on that far in. With syringes and thin hide glue and stuff, and then a clamping jig, I thought it was going to be a 2 or a 3-person job. Here we are on camera, and I'm being told something different. So this is the trick, people. Hire people who know more than you, and then get out of their way. So I'm going to piss off. And Sophia, you're going to figure out what we need. There may need to be clamping cauls. It's going to be an interesting one.
The clamping is going to be the most difficult part. I've already started soaking the hide glue. It's the best. We can wipe it off the finish as well with just warm water, so it's not going to damage anything else. But the clamping is
That is the problem. Well, you crack on, and
awesome.
If you need an extra pair of hands, I will find somebody who's more talented than I am to give you them hands. Goodbye.
Awesome. This is the problem area. Around here, you can see a lip here, where the purfling and the rib have actually come apart. That is the worst example on this whole instrument. And, you know, along the whole guitar, you can feel a bit of a lip in most areas, but it is, you know, a really nice thin finish. Which is going to happen. I mean, it's wood and next to abalone and plastic, and they all behave really differently, so it makes sense. We will be repairing the end graft as well. You can feel a few little lumps there, but nothing's come apart, so I'm not concerned about that. So around here, you can see some cracking in the finish, but we're not worried about that because, you know, when you press it down, there is no movement, so it actually hasn't come apart from the lining on the inside, which is what the problem would be, which it is over here. Yeah, you can see that pretty clearly. Just in that area. It's quite subtle, but it's one of those things that if it isn't repaired, it's just going to carry on moving and breaking more over time, especially because it's on the bottom of the guitar. The lower bout always gets the most damage. We know that this crack has got a good connection, or at least, do we know that it's got a good connection? Yeah, I would say it's got a good connection with the lining. And yeah, when we're definitely going to have, you know, squeeze out and everything, and with hide glue, you can just wipe it off with warm water. It won't like merge with the finish. I'm fairly sure this is polyurethane, although I could be wrong with the amount that it's moved. It could be nitro. Either way, some sort of plastic finish. Right, so I thought maybe I should explain the plan, and that is to essentially use hide glue to go in here, clamp it up, let that dry, and it should be it should be pretty simple, really. It's a bit like finicky in terms of like the shape which we have to be clamping, but I found this super long quick release clamp which fits. So I've made a caul which I'll be lining with cork, and then essentially just fitting that into there, making sure that that's all protected, and then clamping it up. So it should be easy if everything actually goes to plan. I'm actually being commissioned by Ben to make a guitar like this for him. So maybe we'll have another one of these soon. And this is just dry clamping. So this is what we have. We have clamping cauls at each end. I'm very happy with the fit. Excuse the messy super glue, doesn't make a difference to how it functions though, so I'm not going to spend time making it look pretty for the sake of it, although this one's really pretty. I like that. And those cauls are just to make sure that there's just even pressure everywhere. So now onto the hide glue. Right, so I want to know why they made the decision to put this lovely wooden half herringbone with other bits as the back strip, but then didn't put any other wooden inlay anywhere else apart from the back. That's strange, right? Like, it has to tie in with something. I would love to know. If anyone knows why that decision was made, please say so in the comments, because I'm genuinely interested. I would have never thought of putting a wooden inlay in only one part of the guitar when the rest is abalone. Also, because we're ripping into the guitar, even though I absolutely love it, you can actually see a bump where it just hasn't been smoothed out properly on the neck. How nuts is that? For an expensive guitar like this, you can actually see it in the light reflection a little bit. Yeah, look. There we go. Anyway, apart from that, wonderful guitar. Beautiful. But what? You don't want to heat the hide glue to over 75, 80 degrees, because then it just will become less sticky or not sticky at all. And when you're mixing fresh stuff up, you need to make sure that you don't tip it all out like what I just did. And basically when you heat it up, that all the granules at the bottom of the cup or whatever you're using is all dissolved. I have had it on for a little bit longer than when it first started melting, just to make sure it's all good and melted. So the order of this is going to go heat up the area which I'm gluing with a hot air gun a little bit. That will help the hide glue basically have a slightly larger amount of open time. It starts to kind of go gelatinous before it hardens, and I just want to have a bit of extra time when I'm putting the clamps on before it goes gelatinous, and then put the clamps on and leave it overnight.
Okay, so you need to tape up that clamping caul so that it doesn't get glued, because cork is very gluey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've done that before, and it's not fun having to rip your precious work apart. Right. This is always the scary bit, isn't it? It's like you spend so much time prepping, and then it's like 30 seconds of gluing. This brush is a little bit big, but it'll have to do, donkey. Sorry, it's how I calm my nerves. Think about Shrek. Sorry. You can probably see that I'm actually shaking a bit. I'm quite nervous.
Is it better if I talk to you, or worse?
I don't know, it depends what you say, Ben. You can, yes.
Is it difficult that you have your boss watching and putting a camera in your face at the same time? Is this better or worse?
I'm not sure. You know what? It's kind of a comfort having you there. If something goes wrong, this needs to be done super quickly, super quickly. Hey Ben, could you squeeze this, or someone? Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, don't want to do that any tighter. Cool.
Preparation, preparation, preparation.
And then like 20 seconds of
Utter panic.
I'm actually shaking after that. That's not even coffee or nothing. What do you think of my cauls, Ben?
Your calls are very, very, very nice.
I thought you were going to say my cauls are very cool.
Oh, damn it, I completely missed a trick.
See, I think
Cool calls.
my dad
Colleague.
jokes.
Aha.
My dad jokes are on par with your dad jokes.
No, not quite.
Not quite. This has been left overnight. Let's take the clamp off. Moment of truth. This is a super close-up of the repaired area. It's around here. It's a bit difficult to see. The camera's having trouble focusing, but you can see there's kind of like a little bit of a white line there. I mean, there is also like a white veneer line, but sort of a crispy sort of not clean line. So I think just to flatten that out, I'm going to go over it with 2000 grit paper and then buff it out to get it all nice and level. These are the bits of hide glue that just managed to make their way onto the back, and we can't be giving a guitar back to a customer with glue all over it. So here is my warm water, those are my crisps, and I'll be removing this glue. Let's get to it. That was easy enough. I'm very happy that all the glue is off. Just little bits of glue that get ripped over the place in the stress of the clamping period. So now I'm going to be flat sanding this area, just where the finish is cracked, where there was movement, and it would be nice to get it flat because you can still feel it. There isn't any movement anymore, but let's do this properly. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but I don't want to start on a super heavy grit, because then you can just be presented with more problems of trying to get scratches out of a perfect finish on a super expensive Martin guitar, and I'm not up for that today. So I've finished with the flat sanding, and I can still feel a bit of a ridge, but there is sort of little ridges in between the abalone purfling and the rib structure around most of the guitar. I don't want to be accidentally going through to the wood, so I've basically just gotten rid of the parts of the finish which could potentially chip out, and flattened it to pretty much what the rest of it feels like. Sort of this area is a little bit cloudier than the rest of the finish. It's not reflecting so much. Not sure if you can tell through the camera. So yeah, I'll be buffing that out, and I think just having a look over it to check that everything's still okay. And I think that's it. Almost. Famous last words before something hopefully doesn't go wrong. Cleaning the buffing compound off. stuff. So here is the final result. The area which I repaired was around here. You can see where little cracks, almost sort of flakes of the finish, have come away, but it feels flat, and in fact it feels flatter than the areas which I haven't repaired. But these areas are not moving, and this one was. And this is still not moving, which is great. It's just wonderful, this guitar. I'm very happy with that. And I think that this is the first time I've done something to do with nitro or poly finishes where I have to flat or wet sand it, and it's actually gone all to plan, which is really nice, because sanding and sanding all day is not how I want to be spending my Friday. And there's awesome things happening in the school. What a lovely thing. What a beauty. I really love the colour of this soundboard. If anyone watching knows how they achieved this colour, please comment, because I love it. It's like gorgeous, sort of almost orangey, but not in a ghastly way, you know? So that is it. Repair has been successful, and there haven't been any slip-ups this time, which is amazing. So this guitar can go back to its owner. It will be missed. But first of all, we're going to be taking photos of this for the online museum, because this is a great guitar. Anyway, if you enjoyed that video, please click like and subscribe, and let us know if you want to see more of these repair sort of videos. Stay dusty.